of the information that came out during our budget hearings. Yeah. So our only hope is that this hearing triggers even faster cooperation among all of you, because we cannot solve this in isolation. So let me call on Attorney Tejano, who was raising his hand from Ayakat. Go ahead, sir.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. President. Ma'am, during our raids, 4 raids actually, of these foreign individuals in Pogos, we actually would have physical custody of the whole foreign nationals, of the whole building, and they will be subjected, all of them, Your Honor, to deportation or repatriation, usually shouldered by some of them by the embassies or their employers. However, those who were issued with habeas corpus, or those cases which has been filed with habeas corpus, sila po yung nare-release na foreign individuals, or those material witnesses that we have in our custody sa tip center, doon po sila. But all of them, Your Honors, are blacklisted and not allowed to come back to the Philippines.
I'm curious, who files a case of habeas corpus on their behalf? Yung employer nila, asawa nila, sino kaya?
Mga lawyers po nila, Your Honor, they have actual lawyers. And minsan po
If
na...
yung habeas corpus mo yung i-deport, grabe yun ah. But I mean,
And sometimes
do we have a legal expert here? Is it not the right of the Philippine government to determine who is allowed to be in this country? That to be, once you are allowed to enter, of course it is our job to take care of foreign nationals, but to treat them with all the respect due of a human being. Pero if there's a basis to deport,
most of the cases, Your Honor,
pala yun. I mean, honestly, that's a legal, you're a lawyer also. Isn't that like a legal conundrum na parang pwede mo pa palang ipilit na nandito siya sa Pilipinas? Yeah, you will use the writ of habeas corpus to insist that that person can stay in the Philippines as opposed to be deported?
most of the cases, Your Honor, the judge would grant in our favor. But there are
May
cases
attempt pa talaga.
such as this foreigner is already married to a Filipina and they have already families here in the outside, so they have to be with their families. But most of the time, the court would grant
Okay.
us the favorable order, Your Honors.
Okay.
Madam Chairperson, what's being flashed in the screen? Is this a person
Which
who
one?
is a Vietnamese national who now has a Philippine passport?
Oh, yan yung case mo, asan na si Mr.
How is that even possible?
Yun, ito yun, di ba? Yung case mo. Oo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jane.
Okay. Hindi. So, Mr. President, these are just cases of reported cases, as you had mentioned. Like this one is applied for was already in front of immigration, and then sabi niya she has never first time niya to be an OFW and to leave the country, and yet the record showed that there are 2 other persons who had previously left with similar data as hers. Ano ba yun? Similar, same passport or same everything but different person in this particular case.
May I, Madam?
Yeah, of
Madam?
course. And then ito yung kaso mo, di ba? Alika, baka gusto kong tanungin ni
Yeah.
Senate President.
Oo, ang katanungan ko kasi po, Madam, is the issuance of the passport. For every crime, you follow the trail, whether it's you follow the evidence. And obviously, if it's money laundering, for example, you follow the money trail. In this case, it is the documents. Just like the other one that you flashed, it was a Vietnamese fellow, all of a sudden, nagkaroon ng Filipino passport. Sino nag-issue ng Filipino passport na yan? Dapat yan accountable. We have to know from the DFA who issued that passport. Now, you find out that person, maybe sindikato yan, maybe hindi niya rin alam. He might show, it says there DFA Davao. He might show, which is strange because he said this person lives in Zambales. Paano naman umabot sa Davao para mag-apply ng passport yung mama? Ibig sabihin, naghahanap ng easy mode of access to these documents yan. guys, we have to stay sharp. Nandito yung NBI. You guys have to stay sharp. I'm not a police officer. This gentleman beside me is a police officer. You have to follow the trail. Now, pag nahuli niyo yung lalaki nagbigay niya, nag-issue niyan, nag-interview sa kanya, tignan mo yung dokumento. Kasi baka naman, he was acting on the fact na may legal document, may PSA, or may birth certificate from some place in Zambales. Habulin nyo naman yan. Habulin nyo yan na yun. Di ba? So in this particular case, how far have you gone on apprehending those responsible for the issuance of these fake passports? Same goes to the other one. Yung babaeng yun, may dalawang passport, same data. Sino nag-issue niyan? Baka isang tao lang yun. Baka sindikato yan. So yan ang dapat natin bantayan. I'm not saying that there's a syndicate. Possibly. As my son always tells me, you'll never know. My son always tells me that for some strange reason. So, we have to follow the evidence. Okay, dito lang. Dito lang sa Vietnamese individual na ito. Ano na nangyari dyan sa investigation? How far have you gone in trying to apprehend who was the one in charge of giving them these documents? These are legal documents. Huh? These are not spurious. These are legal documents.
If I may just summarize and then we get a response, no? So my recollection of this case is the passport was actually issued and it was the BI who caught it, tama ba? And then from there, na-investigahan and it was determined that the document submitted to DFA was authentic, tama ba? O feel free to correct me. So who wants to continue and tell the Senate President, report to us as requested by the Senate President, what happened then after?
Oh, dito itong case na
after that
muna
was
ma'am para we
determined?
can find out, we can just focus on this one case. Please proceed, Asa. With the permission of the chairperson.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, we would like to thank of course, the Bureau of Immigration for calling our attention. And based on our records, Your Honor, we did determine that the applicant submitted a genuine birth certificate.
Where
And-
was the birth certificate? Who issued the birth certificate? Was it the municipality or the
Philippine-
PSA?
The PSA, sir, and a genuine driver's license.
So wala na. What happened there after that?
We have since canceled the passport, sir, December 28, 2023.
That's the point, Madam Chair. It's not just a simple not a simple cancellation of passport. If this happened in the United States, oh my God, the U.S. Homeland Security is going to run after you and whoever issued that document. Bakit naman tayo dito? Kaya walang natatakot sa atin, guys eh. Talaga, walang natatakot sa atin kasi, ay, di cancel mo na lang yung passport. Ganun na lang. So yung nag-issue ng fake document na real, but of course with the fake input of information, goes scot-free. Must have made a couple of $1 million, you know? Unfortunately, because of corruption. We gotta put a stop to these guys. Talagang dapat matigil na to. So, wala na. Ganun hanggang doon na lang? Or what is the recommendation of the DFA? Or what is the recommendation of any agency here, please, on how to explain this issue? Have you already penalized the person involved in releasing that document? PSA, would you like to answer?
Mr. President, good afternoon po. This is among the documents under investigation by PSA. This is the one document that we say this is authentic, that came from PSA indeed. But this one is a case of identity theft, wherein the actual document owner was born in 1996. 2 days later, that person died, and this person assumed 1999. Assumed.
With due respect, Mr. Manawag, no, I don't need that explanation. I want to hear from you, what the hell did you guys do to correct this and to penalize that fellow who gave that or allowed it to happen, that document from the PSA? Do you do at least some normal, okay, when you issue is that a late registration, a late request for birth certificate?
This
Late
is
siguro kasi, di ba when you're born in a Kasi if you're born in, asa tong imong lungsod? Santa Cruz, Davao del Sur. When he's born in the barangay in Davao del Sur, the hospital there will issue the birth certificate, di ba? The locality will issue the birth certificate. Now, if there's none, which happens to many Filipinos, wala silang birth certificate, you go to the PSA now for late registration of birth certificate. Ibig nyo sabihin, napakadali, ganun lang kadali, kumuha ng late registration of birth certificate na yon. Nasasabihin lang nila, ay, ganito, ganyan, meron ng, lalabas na kayo ng late birth certificate. Because I think that is what happened. The gentleman or the person, is it a guy? It's a man, right? Is it a man?
So, man.
Because the name is in Vietnamese. If that is a man, that person must have been already of age when he applied for that birth certificate.
This
Di ba?
is woman, Your Honor.
Okay, my
And,
mistake. It's a woman. So,
timely-
but that woman, when she applied for that, Mr. Manawag, was of an older child, I guess, or older person, right?
Mr. President, this case is timely registration. This is not a late registration, Your Honor.
What do you mean? She was born here in the Philippines?
Use the identity of a dead person who legitimately was born in the country and died in the country, Your Honor.
Ba na naman to?
Mr.
Siguro,
Sir,
ang last na lang siguro, Chair, Boss Bato. So, ganun lang kadali ito. I mean, anyone can do it, right? Anyone can fake the documents. Right now, through Photoshop and everything, ibibigay lang sa inyo. Ganun na lang yun. I mean, is that easy to be able to get a birth certificate from the Philippine Statistics Authority now using fake documents? You don't do a background check.
Your
You
Honor,
don't go back to the municipality to find out if it is true.
Mr.
or
President, Mr. President, yung pong registration happens at the local civil registrar, Your Honor. Sinasubmit po yan sa PSA once it is registered at the local civil registrar, Your Honor. So it is not actually the PSA that registers people, Your Honor, rather the local civil registrars.
O nga, pero dumating sila sa inyo, may dalang peking dokumento. Peke, sabi mo, it's identity theft. Ngayon, ganun lang ba kadali na basta ang sinasabi mo, garbage in, garbage out. Ang sinasabi mo, wala kaming magawa pag dinala yung dokumento sa amin na merong ganitong mga detalye, ay lalabas na namin yung birth certificate na late registrar. You don't do background checks? There's no form of background check or verification on your part sa PSA?
Your Honor, as a repository of these registered documents from the LCRs, the local civil registrars conducts the investigation and checks the supporting documents as submitted by the registrant, Your Honor. So on our end, we receive what is registered by the local civil registrars, Your Honor.
Okay, question. Alam ba na locals, right now in this investigation, alam ba na local civil registrar na ginamit yung mga dokumento nila? Napatay na yung tao, ginamit ng itong buhay.
Your Honor, the PSA conducted investigation and asked our officials to go to the local civil registrar to verify on the documents required by the local civil registrars on accepting this registration. And the results of the investigation has been discussed earlier, but we will submit it to the committee.
Question, another question. Which local registrar was this person, were the documents coming from for this person, this
This one.
particular person?
This one is from Zambales, Santa Cruz, Zambales, Your Honor.
Santa Cruz, Zambales.
For your information, Mr. President, we asked them to identify the top three. They have a list, no? You have a list? You gave us a list. They investigated the top three locations where they have the most late registration of birth. Late because, unlike in this particular case, most of the cases we're investigating are the late registration. So they identified Pasig, Davao del Sur, and what was the third? Manila. And they have a list, they have other lists. So anyway, we were just saying that without this hearing, we expect that they would be proceeding exactly as the Senate President was saying. No? That was our point na sana hindi kami kailangan mag-hearing to ensure that all of the necessary steps, not just to resolve that one case, but that they do not happen, because wala pa rin akong narinig sa inyo kung sino ang naimbestigahan at sino ang matatanggal, unless you just didn't volunteer that information. You're both raising your hand. So si ano naman, si Ase Cruz naman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fairness po, it was the PSA who assisted us in determining the
Those areas.
statistics. Yes, ma'am. And we the figures that we came out with, those were used by suspected foreign nationals po
Correct.
who applied for Philippine
Yes,
passports.
But I'm saying, nahanap nyo together, pero yung opinion nyo, as you have been saying it, is ang may jurisdiction doon is their LGU, Mr. President, because the civil registrars are under the jurisdiction of their LGUs. What we have been saying is that they have supervisorial powers over the civil registrar. So you have to be the ones to implement or to, hindi pwedeng kayo ang magsisante dun sa tao, pero pwedeng yung i-recommend na kasuhan yun, di ba? So that's what we're waiting for. Yeah.
Madam Chair, kasi ang gusto natin ang kalalabasan sana ng committee hearing na ito ay makakapatupad tayo ng batas, nagagawa tayo ng batas on increasing the penalties and criminal liabilities of not only these individuals, but also the government agencies who release these documents. Kaya sana habang dinedebate pa namin itong batas na at paano natin paggagawin itong batas na ito, on your side alone, on the DFA, the PSA, the civil registrars under the local government, the DILG, the BI, dapat meron na po kayong processes na medyo, dahil dito, hindi ganun kadali. May dapat secondary, tertiary level or what you call layers of identification of this particular individual. Di ba po, kaya nyo nang gawin yun eh. You don't need to wait for us to come up with a law. On your own, mag-usap-usap kayo. For example, DFA, yung mamang ito, hindi naman marunong mag-English. Siguro yung when I apply for my new passport, I go to your office for the picture and all. They always do the interview. Oh, sir, ano ba? Anong ilalagay ko dito pangalan? So dapat dagdagan nyo siguro yung interview process. Di ba? Kung pag nakita nyo na medyo duda kayo na hindi ito Pilipino at yung kawin niyo, yung kasama nyo dyan ay matino, hindi po sindikato, sasabihin niya, sandali, i-red flag muna natin to. We'll report this muna to our supervisor. Then they report, then you do a secondary investigation. Same with the BI, same with the PSA. Dapat sa PSA, it shouldn't be that easy. Because they're using your document now, because of the mere, siguro, ease of doing business, mabilis. But because of that now, they're utilizing it, the syndicates are utilizing it to get legal documents from you guys.
Mr. President, Your Honor, Madam Chair, dun po sa isubmit naming result ng investigation which we conducted, part of the recommendation there are filing of administrative cases against involved local civil registry personnel. So kasama po yun we have at least 3 identified areas for filing of administrative case. Just to inform